Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Sean Higgs coming at you here. It's Monday, February the 17th. Man, almost done with this month already, folks. And we'll be looking to March and baseball right around the corner. Cubbies and the Dodgers on Thursday. I'm excited. I'll be taking the Cubs in preseason action and a little exhibition baseball. Take some Cubs. There's a free pick winner in baseball for you on a Monday. Cubs preseason baseball. As always, it's Monday. Chip Chirimbes, Doug Upstone joining me here on the Winner Circle YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell here, folks. This is our free pick video channel here, and we're doing all right. We're so here in NBA, 26 and 28, which is good. We get a little breather, though, with the All-Star break, which is fine. We'll recoup. College basketball, paying dividends here in the free picks, 23 and 18, doing well here. As we calendar moves forward, we'll be flipping into more baseball, but NBA, college basketball, obviously leading the way here as our free picks. Our premium plays will be found at gamblersworld.net. As always, our 3 730 packages guaranteed. Show you a profit all the time where we credit you back. Daily passes, great day for a daily pass for a guy like Chip today. I see he's got 4 separate packages up. Get a day pass. Get a day pass, all for one low price, $69.99. And I'm sure there'll be some kind of early bird baseball and all-inclusive kind of stuff coming up here as the regular season gets started. But again, like, subscribe, notification bells for the free picks. Our best bets always on gamblersworld.net. And I know Doug decided for baseball. We'll be going down, checking out some spring training there in Arizona. That's the Cactus League, right? You're in the Cactus.
That is correct, right?
Should be right. You're in the desert. That'd be a cactus, and the grapefruits would be in Florida. It makes perfect. Now I know.
We have grapefruits here too.
I just figured that one out. I had no idea. I'm like, hey, cactus is in the desert. Really, I never thought of it that way.
You learn something new every day.
I thought like NL teams were there. I didn't know how it was broken down, but now I know the names. Makes perfect sense.
It does.
Simple things like that there.
And Doug, they told us you can't teach old dogs new tricks. And
right.
It is.
Just the.
You think going to bed at 7:30, 8 o'clock at 10 years old, I would have probably picked something up.
And you grew up to be such a big, strong man.
And then they got a giant big head. Look at that. I look like a giant watermelon on a toothpick. But anyway. Doug, how's the weekend?
Well, from a personal standpoint, it was just fine. Picks not so great. Nothing much went my way. One of those weekends, just been. Honestly, I full transparency, just been in a dull period for college basketball. Unlike yourself, Sean, and I think Chip did pretty well. I think on the weekend too, as if I saw correctly. So it's just hey, you just sometimes it happens. You just put your nose to the grindstone, go to work, and try and get it done. And that's all that's left to do. So here we go. What do we got? 4 weeks from today 4 weeks from yesterday is the bids. Those will be coming out. We got conference tournaments coming up. So just looking forward to that. And then just to get this turned around this week and get hot like you guys are.
Now, listen, it's one day at a time, as always. I know what it's like. That's my entire NFL season. You think you're doing right, and you're just kind of churning the wheels in the mud, trying to just get a little bit of traction going there. Yep. It's the life we chose here. It's going to be ups and downs. And just sometimes you're just like, you're not going anywhere, but then you break out. It's not easy, folks. That's why we say, we're here every day with how we do. Chip, how are you?
I was great. Finally able to focus on the college basketball with NBA taking a break. Had a 5-1 Saturday, headed by Alabama as my megabuck play. Never in doubt, that game they had the lead from start to finish. Excuse me. I had Auburn over Alabama. I misspoke. Just that Bruce Pearl, I just thought he'd be ready for the big game, and they certainly were, I think, and a little bit too much attention was being paid to the Crimson Tide, who are great. These two teams may meet again in the Final Four because I don't think they're going to put them in the same bracket.
Well, they shouldn't. I mean, that's for sure. I mean,
yeah.
Them two, and even Florida, and you can put Tennessee. You have 4 teams in the top 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And 3 of them are going to be coming into the NCAA tournament over losses.
There's something funky about that Tennessee teams. There have been a few spots where, you think they'd show up and they didn't. And I think they were fortunate to get the win this weekend. I don't think they covered. And I'm wondering about the Volunteers. It just seems to be something, maybe intrinsically or chemistry-wise, to me, when I see them, seems to be something missing.
Yeah, they don't shoot the ball very well. That's their problem.
Yeah.
And unless they pound the ball inside or have the ability to pound the ball inside, they're just not very good. But Sean, go ahead and let everybody know, because I have a question for the both of you. But go ahead and tell how you did on the weekend.
Yeah, I had a 6-2 Saturday, 5-3 yesterday, or something like 4-2 maybe. 4-3 today. My wins highlighted though, not by your Auburn teams, but I had I guess my win be highlighted by Alcorn State plus 5.5.
Well, who didn't have that? Come on.
Name me one of the starting five. Just give me one.
VMI. I had VMI plus 7.5 was a winner. Weber plus 10. That's where I was at.
What's Alcorn State's nickname? Do you know?
Alcorn State's nickname. I don't know.
I don't know either, but
I don't know.
I want to say like the Cardinal, I think. I don't know.
Okay.
The Cardinal.
I have no idea.
I don't either.
Maybe the Acorns, Alcorn State Acorns. I
don't think so.
It's fun. Chip's like, hey, I get a chance to concentrate on college basketball. The guy's number one in NBA. I look at the leaderboard. Now he's number 2 in college basketball. One weekend, no NBA. This guy just comes out of nowhere with an NBA with a college basketball Saturday. Unbelievable, Chip. Holy cow! You just got you. It's because you got the flaming basketballs behind you. Like it's embedded into your blood. It's embedded into you.
I studio it up.
I like the studio.
So here's my question: Is you mentioned Alabama, Auburn, Florida, and Duke.
Yeah.
Does
Duke's
anybody think right now, other than those 4, does anybody have a chance to win the national championship?
Houston.
My answer is no. But
I
go
think
ahead.
Houston can win it. I really do.
Yeah. Houston's tough.
Yeah, they're tough, but sure looks like the same old.
I gave you Notre Dame.
What's that?
I said I gave you Notre Dame early. So pay attention. How? You got me nervous.
He's out here punching. He's punching his computer screen.
I hit the tripod. All right, I'm back in action.
Okay,
that was my dog. I had a 3-legged dog. I named him Tripod.
Yeah.
How about Mini-Me? He had a tripod, according to Michael Caine.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, Houston's a better version of Tennessee. A lot of defense, got a little more height this year than in previous years. But I don't know. There's just seemingly not enough offense. And if I watched the game against Arizona. Arizona controlled a good portion of the game. Probably should have won, but they just, Houston's defense was good at the end. No question about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just something. It just seems like the same old team to me that, just not enough, really good, just not enough to get the job done.
And who's coaching them, Doug?
Kelvin Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the guy that Houston had to do a show cause for him to get him to because of his illegal activities that he did at the university.
Seems to be a lot of that going around nowadays. Florida State,
Indiana, and Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm not a big Kelvin Sampson guy
and now it's par for the course. Nothing even would have happened if you did it today with paying guys and that kind of nonsense.
Yes, well, it's legal now. That's the
now
difference.
You don't pay them. You promise them, but you don't pay them.
Houston's good though. I think they're maybe a tick below those 2 other teams.
Yeah,
I don't like Duke's team. I know Duke's got the big guy. Everybody loves Cooper Flagg, but as a whole, I think just Alabama and Auburn. Auburn. Just think about Bruce Pearl's like, hey, we did a good job. We held them to 80. You held the team to 85 points. Alabama couldn't even shoot a 3. They couldn't make a 3 from into the ocean from the water, and they nearly won the game. That's what separates them from, I think, Duke and Houston. And Tennessee's, again, can't score. And who you got Michigan or Michigan State at a Big Ten. Come on, they're not doing nothing. UCLA's 2 up and down. Like they look so bad playing Maryland. Although Maryland, I had Iowa say like plus 12.5. I'm like, wow, 51 points at the half. This is a nice easy cover, and then they score like 5 points in the second half or something. So Maryland, not to win it all, but I think that could be a team you want to maybe jump on to do a. To surprise and win the Big Ten, maybe if you want to do something like that.
It'd be a surprise.
I didn't have Maryland being this good.
Michigan's good. Michigan's they're a solid team. I could see them getting to the Elite 8.
Yes,
I think
they're not a Final Four team. I don't think.
You may end up with 3 teams from the Southeast, like what was it in '86 when you had 3 teams from the Big East: St. John's, Villanova, and Georgetown. That was a great Final Four as it was.
Yeah,
Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullen, Pinckney, and Villanova.
It all depends how they set these guys up. They're going to put I won't be shocked if it's just Duke by themselves, and then you got all the SEC teams and everybody else all lumped together.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 4 weeks to hammer it out.
But how do you? I mean, if Auburn, Alabama, and Florida all kind of like lose a couple games, like you're gonna get picked off somewhere. You're just not. Yeah. All these teams aren't going to go into the tournament 35-3, right? They're going to have a couple losses. You're going to downgrade these off of one of you. Who are you putting over them as a 2? You're going to put if UCLA wins or whoever, or Michigan, whoever wins the Big Ten. That team is going to overtake one of the Alabama and Auburn. Like both of those guys should be number 1.
We just had a week where Alabama got beat and they remained number 1. I mean, Auburn got beat and they remained number 1. And they come back and play Alabama. So they're giving them a lot of respect, Sean, even if they lose within the conference. I mean, the team lost, and usually they'll drop them 3-4 spots, but they remain number 1 after having a loser.
I think it's just a big separation between the top 5-10 teams and everybody else.
Yes, that's kind of my point. Yeah. I mean,
you had Rutgers, not Rutgers. Cincinnati at one time was 15-10, and they were ranked 15th. Rutgers was 11-9, and they were ranked 12th. I mean, where are these numbers coming from?
The Rutgers team, you had a couple guys who were supposed to be like lottery picks, and then they just
Harper and Bailey, Ace Bailey.
Yeah. How good are they? Terrible.
I guess. Did you guys see this weekend? Seth Davis, who's no longer with CBS, he's on his own, and he was professing it's time to enlarge the NCAA field from 68 to 76 is what he would like to see. And there's been others, 96 and whatever, those types of things. And I mean, I think I didn't see, other than him, I didn't see one person say that it was a good idea.
To me, Doug, you're adding 16 more bad teams. Not, maybe St. John's last year should have got in, okay, but to add that many teams who the bottom of that field has virtually no shot. You're not seeing those 1 or 2, those 15 and 16.
This is going to turn into. First of all, they're going to expand it because they're going to be like, oh, we get more money. It's an extra week of games. It'll turn into the freaking playoffs that they're going to expand up to pretty soon 16 and 24 teams. And it's going to be what? 15 teams out of the SEC, 12 teams out of the Big Ten. That's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is in the tournament. Texas is 4-9 in the SEC, and they're going to be a 10 seed. How? What do you? No.
And they're ranked 8th in the nation.
And the crazy thing is, somebody like Bradley, who's like 20-2, or Drake, or one of those teams who are going to win 25 or 27 games. They're not going to get in because they didn't play anybody. We got to put this team in because they're 5-15 in the SEC. It's the same crap. I don't need to see another 19-13 team playing.
They should think of it as once that opening tip starts on your first game, the tournament starts. You have to qualify from that point on. So, at the end, adding 12 teams to the tournament, they're also rans. They're really not going to be competitive.
I mean, St. John's. We think St. John's. Think about this.
That's all. It's just about.
We think St. John's is a pretty good team, right? St. John's, Arizona. These guys are 35-40-1 to win the title. You're telling me we're going to go down the line to a team that's 70th? Let's expand. I mean, because let's be honest, the 70th ranked team is George Mason. George Mason's not going to get into the tournament if they expand to 70. They're going to go down the line and put Penn State in, or Rutgers, or Utah, or they're South Carolina at 10-15. They'll get in there. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're not. George Mason is not sniffing the tournament as a 70th ranked team. Nor is North Texas at 64. It's not happening. They're not putting Cal Irvine in if they don't win the Big West. So let's be. It's for Stanford. Hey, listen, they're ranked 89. They should get in there because they have a win over. They beat North Carolina. I mean, or I don't even know if they beat North Carolina. I'm just saying from the standpoint, the arguments because we just heard them in the college football playoffs.
Right. And that's what I commented to Davis. I said, what good does it do if you're going to add 7 teams or 8 teams and 7 are going to be from the power conferences? That doesn't make the tournament any better. If you want to add a little something, and I'm not saying these are necessarily good teams or great teams, but take 2 out of the Missouri Valley. If you got Missouri Valley that has 2 teams with 25 wins, take 2 of those. I mean, at least those fan bases are going to be more excited about having an opportunity. As you said, maybe if the Big West has something, to where there's 2 teams. I mean, I'd rather go that if you're going to expand it to where other people can get it as opposed to the usual suspects.
And they're going to have to increase some number of buys. I mean,
Well,
he's going to give 16 teams a bye if you're going to add those other teams.
Well,
I mean, there's not going to be room.
Yeah, they're all playing games.
Yeah, I mean, well, and who's? I mean, it's most people have a hard enough time. I mean, some people take off work and stuff like that to watch it on Thursday and Friday. The opening weekend. Who's got 4 days to take off? Is you going to take a vacation to watch all the games on a Tuesday?
I think their mission is to bury the NIT.
Yeah, they want. That's fine. That was the initial talk. Like we're going to take 120 teams and have a giant tournament. What? No. At this point, keep your stupid Big Ten, SEC, ACC. Give me. I would much rather watch Sun Belt, Mountain West, Big Sky, Big West. All the little schools go at it.
Yep,
that'll be a much funner tournament. It would be.
Yeah, because some of those teams are good enough to upset others. Or at least near upsets, stuff like that. That's what you want.
But we see, I mean, they did to Wichita State. Wichita State was what? Undefeated 1 year. They put them against Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
9 game? Yeah.
You want to get people to watch? You leave your Sun Belt, Missouri, your Big Sky, whatever your small school, you leave it within hours of drive from that campus. The problem is with that, they might upset your big name school, but you're gonna have butts in the seat at 11 a.m. for that game. That's for sure.
Yeah. And then the old argument. Well, the Drake and teams like they don't play anybody. Nobody in the SEC or the Big Ten wants to play Drake.
Exactly.
They just don't. They'll play each other. Because it keeps their numbers up, keeps their net ratings up. But they don't want to play Drake because if they lose to Drake, people start questioning what they're doing. Yep. So it's unfair to me to that argument. That's just either college football or college basketball. It doesn't hold water.
No, it's but again, all the people on those panels making them, they're all Power 5 guys. Yep. You got one schlep on there from the small schools, and let's be honest, they're bringing him a suitcase with $500,000 cash and be like, "Hey, fella, how was your go? Haven't seen your wife? Take her out to dinner." What's that guy gonna be like? Thank you. I mean, really, that's what it is.
Well, know who's not paying the right people anymore? It's got to be North Carolina. Look what's happened to their football team and their basketball team. Why are they not getting the players? Is it the coaching? I mean,
I think they got the players. They
got a new coach in football for 4 years.
Yeah. First of all, with the football team, I mean, hiring somebody that's 72 years old to run back-to-back years, back-to-back time.
Does that make sense?
70-year-old guy to run. You ready to take over a corporation, Chip?
No. But what about their basketball team? I mean,
well, no, Hubert Davis.
That's sinful for they lose to Stanford. It really is.
Well, Hubert Davis is. I mean, he this team. I have no idea how he blew it. I mean, here's a program steeped in tradition with big guys, and they have none this year. They don't have one big guy that would. They don't have a big guy that
he doesn't have Michael Jordan. He doesn't have Michael Jordan knocking on somebody's door saying, "Come to Carolina."
Well, I mean, I don't know. Hubert Davis to me has blew this all together.
Bring Lawrence Taylor over to somebody's house.
At least with the football team, I mean, Mac Brown signing with was dumb. But at least with Belichick, he could be like, I know people in the NFL. I'm going to get you NFL ready. Yeah. I could see that as a selling point to kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
But somebody else is loving to take the cash.
You're going to pay kids, and then I got Belichick, and who knows what other kind of coaches from the NFL are going to come. He's contact. I might be a 4th-round draft pick here as opposed to undrafted some other school.
I think there's more hope for their football team than basketball team.
But yeah, the basketball team's just. I mean, it's falling on tough times. It's terrible. What are we saying? We don't even know how it happened. I'm sure the North Carolina backers will come in and mention stuff, and those blogs got to be just absolutely on fire. But, speaking of on fire, we're not talking about Chip's pictures behind them. Let's get to the picks here. I didn't think we'd have something like you guys don't have nothing to talk about today. And here we know. No, we definitely had something to talk about because they want to ruin the NCAA tournament like they ruin everything else in our lives. Us old guys yelling at clouds. We'll yell at it. I don't care because we're right. We're right, folks. Experience, sometimes it matters. We know what we're talking about. College basketball today. We're going to talk some South Lane action. McNeese. No, I'm only kidding. We got all the big boys on tap here for you. Like, subscribe, notification bells on. Let's jump right into these. games here. 23-18 with college hoops here on the free pick. Let's go. We're going to start with Chip Chirimbes because it's a 9 o'clock game here, Chip, for you. K-State and Utah. The Utes, I mean, talk about a crazy year, just beat Kansas at home.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jayhawks, you talk about North Carolina falling on hard times. Kansas is definitely not a vintage unit. They get knocked off here by Utah. Do you like the Utes here? It's a 2.5, 146.5. K-State, usually I like them as a dog. Scrappy. I mean, we saw them at home.
Right.
Beat Kansas at home. Beat Arizona at home. Went on the road as a 15-point dog, knocked off Iowa or Iowa State's a good team. They knocked off the Iowa State squad there as 15-point dogs.
Well,
do you like them here as a doggy?
Well, you know what? I don't like Utah to be favored like this. Kansas State coming off those 6 straight wins, went to BYU Saturday night. That was my final and 5th winner, laying the Cougars over the Wildcats. After winning 6 in a row, I could see a team go, say losing their momentum and losing their psyche. And it may be a struggle for them, but I think the way to go in this game, they're only 2-7 on the road, and Utah's 13-3. The idea that Utah's favored like this sort of bothers me, but I think this game is destined to go under the total. Utah's only gone over 10 of their 25 games, and Kansas State 11 of their 25 games. So I'd play this game under the total.
Under
Monday night.
146.5.
Under 146 I have. Is that right? 146.5?
Yep. 146.5.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Because it's a tough play because Kansas State, how are they going to react after that loss? They were lost for the season. Then they reeled off 6 straight wins. And some of them were like big wins, like you said. And then they got waylaid Saturday night at BYU. And
they took the big win. Again, 14-point dogs. They got it done there, and then they beat Arizona State. But other than that, again, 2 wins on the year. Yeah. And now you're going to it's tough winning. We just mentioned Kansas was on the road. Winning on the road is very difficult in college basketball, no matter if you got a ranking in front of your name or just whoever the heck you are. You go on these road things, you face hostile environments. Under 146.5, official pick here for Chip Chirimbes. Doug, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, well, Utah had the upset but they shot 36.5%. Okay, and how they won is they were plus 12 on the glass, and they had 5 fewer turnovers. I mean, Kansas just can't get out of their own way. They have 0 offense in terms of any consistency. I think Utah comes in a little bit flat here off that big victory, and they have a very poor history of playing 2 games in 3 days, 4-12 straight up on this one. So to me, I don't disagree with Chip on that. Is what's Kansas State of mind? I just think kind of how they've been going. It just, the stumble finally happened. And so now they pick themselves up. Okay. And they're playing a team that's really also in a tough situation. I think Utah, yes, they're home, but I mean, off a big victory like that, I'd rather take the points than give them in this one. So I'll slide with Kansas State.
Little K-State look there for Doug. Again, the official pick here. 23-18 winter college basketball here. Under 146.5 from Chip Chirimbes. If you want Chip's best plays, he's now number 2. He's moved out, Brian Biller out of the way. It's Chip Chirimbes now from the top rope, number 2. He's got 4 plays up for today, so go get a all-day access pass would be the best bet here to get on board with Chip in today's action. Doug, 10 o'clock tip-off. We're talking about teams on the road. Arizona off a tough home loss. They're actually 5-3 on the road. Usually a pretty good team here. Catching now 1.5 from the Baylor Bears, who, this is like a typical, I roll all these kind of teams together in the Big 12, the Texas schools. They just change their names, but they're all kind of like the same. They're all, I can't even separate them. 1.5, 153.5. Arizona, I don't know, man. I'm not a lover of the coach. He kind of choked that game away the other day. Even in the K-State, they battled back. They had a tie, or they took a 1-point lead. I'm thinking they're going to pull away. They just got the talent. They lose. They followed up again with Houston. Houston's a good team. We've talked about that. Do you like them here as a small dog here, or would you be more inclined to take the Bears in their own stadium?
I'm more inclined to do neither, to tell you the truth.
There you go.
I'm looking at the total, and the total makes absolutely no sense. Okay, it was at 151.5. It's up to 153.5. So I started going through the numbers. In conference play, Baylor's average score game 143. in their last 5 contests, it's 147. Arizona, Big 12 play, average score 149. Past 5 contests, 146. Baylor at home this season, all home games, average score below 150. Wildcats on the road, average score 151. Every one of those numbers is below 153.5. Why is the number 153.5? The previous game that they played, by the way, Arizona won 81-70. Total on that game in Tucson was 148. So this number just doesn't add up to me, which is why, in this case, I'm just going to explicitly just trust the odds makers completely on this one. This baby's up to 153.5. Did a little extra research, found the Baylor's 8-0 over after failing to cover 2 of their last 3. Arizona 8-3 over off a road loss. Put me down for the over because it seems like the odds makers are telling me to take the over on this one.
Over 153.5 official pick from Doug Upstone. This opened at 151.5, so it's gone up even 2 points since the opener and last night and this morning. Man, it's
a big number. I'm not debating. I can't come up with one reason to go over other than.
And I'm looking at the Baylor score: 74-71, 76-65. They did score 91 against UCF, but then 73-59 would have been an under. 81-70. There's a high-scoring game at BYU. They don't even sniff these numbers in any of the games. Crazy. But again, we don't make the lines. Like we'd say, trust the guys. I say they airdrop food into the desert for people to survive in their billion-dollar castles, and they got to get everything shipped to luxurious islands with people massaging them as they make numbers and laugh at us. So if it looks too easy, too good to be true, it probably is. Chip, what do you think about this one?
I'm going to side with Doug here, and one of the reasons I tell you why, and I think the odds makers realize this, and that's probably why the numbers maybe a little bit inflated. And there are 2 losses the last 2 times out. The Wildcats went 2 for 22 from 3-point range and 5 for 23. And I think the odds maker is just looking for them to make some buckets out there. And the shooting 2 for 22 is absolutely absurd. That's 9%. So I think that's probably the reason behind it. Both these teams have been disappointing to me. Baylor's not even ranked any longer, and Arizona played against them with Houston on Saturday, and I have no problem playing against them, but they're playing against a team that I think is a lot weaker than they've been portrayed as this year. So I'm going to play the total, like Doug, over.
Good look there with the threes, because you think if they hit 3 of these, you're talking basically 10 more points in a game, and if somebody gets hot, that 3 could turn into 6 threes, and all of a sudden they're staring at an 80 spot themselves. So
I mean, this team was 7 for 45 and 3 points in their last 2 games. So you're not going to win if you're going to shoot like that for sure.
No, that is
now, Chip. Was that Tim McCarverism?
What was that?
Is that your Tim McCarverism? Because he
was great.
He was the original Mr. Obvious. So I
watched him behind the plate. I mean, make the calls, and he's always has his eyes on the catcher, and I think that's such a key component to baseball. Having a good defense.
I'm just teasing you.
No, I loved him. I did. How about this guy played 4 extra years in his career because Steve Carlton would only pitch to him.
Right.
Carlton every 4 days, so McCarver would get to play every 4 or 5 days.
He's one of the few players also to play in 4 decades.
How about that? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, 1959 to 1991. Yep.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yep.
Who else would fit that category?
There has been one other player since. I don't remember before that. There's been, I think, one other player since that played in 4 decades, but I don't recall. But for some reason, Tim McCarver stuck in my head. So that one I remember.
I'm trying to think who could that even be, because it got to be like a 60, 70, 80, 90 guy maybe.
I think the last person, I would say
Ryan, maybe?
like 2001 maybe.
How about Aaron? Aaron, what these guys played 20.
It's got to be Nolan Ryan. Got to be Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan pitched in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
60s, probably, he would fit then,
right?
Yeah.
Sure.
But
or Charlie Huff. Charlie Huff pitched who's at 900. So maybe Charlie Huff. He's still pitching. Charlie Huff. He's throwing to Julio Franco somewhere. That's another guy played till he's 46.
Who's a knuckleballer that was around for ages?
Charlie Huff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. Enough. Listen, we're going to go totally off the rails to talk about Charlie Huff.
Can't wait for baseball.
We're days away. Thursday will be our opening day show. We're not going to do college basketball or NBA. We'll just be talking about Cubs Dodgers all day long. Just kidding, folks. People are already tuned off. They didn't want to hear my pick today. All right, so far, under 146.5 Utah K-State. Over Arizona Baylor, 153.5. I have Duke, Virginia, 8 o'clock tip-off here. The Blue Devils, a 14.5-point road fave, total of 131.5. Okay, we'll keep this short and sweet. Now this showdown here. Duke's got Illinois on deck. My first thing was I'm going to take Duke, right? I mean, they're crushing teams. You just beat Cal and Stanford by 21 and 36, home games back-to-back. Georgetown and Syracuse, two similar bad teams like power rating-wise. Comparable to Virginia, you beat them by 26 and 29. And the only teams that Virginia played that were as good as Duke, Tennessee, and Florida, you lost by 22 and 18. So, yeah, Duke laying 14 on the road looks pretty good. I'm going to pass that and go to the total. This was 129.5 last night. It was actually touched this morning at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It was 133. Yeah. It's since come back down. I still like the over because Duke is going to put up their 75 or 80 points. And even if they don't get, if they're not covering, it's because Virginia is somehow scoring. And they're not going to slow down Duke. Duke will score their points. Even at 70-60, I'm alive for a over in this game. I think Duke's going to get into the mid-70s. I'm going to go over to 131.5. Simple, free pick, over the total here, 130.5. Go ahead, Chip.
Well, Virginia is just not what they have been in the past since Tony Bennett left and went back to the operatic tour. Virginia is just terrible. They don't score. They're 9-5 at home. They have won 3 straight. They started 1-6 in the conference. Duke's a juggernaut, boy. They are good. They're 7-1 on the road straight up. They won their last 2, like you said, by 57 points after getting beat by Stanford. I think a large number of points here. I have an inclination to take for the Cavaliers, who are playing a little bit better now. They've won 3 in a row. Like I said, they had a 1-6 start. They're now 6-8. I really don't think this Virginia team is anything close to what we've seen in the past. And if they get blown out, I wouldn't be surprised because this is a forced opinion upon me. I'm not looking to play them, but I would use Virginia.
All right. Chip's leaning there. And Duke, you said Stanford, they lost to it was the Clemson loss they had.
Clemson,
North Carolina.
I'm sorry, it was Clemson.
You still got North Carolina.
I had Stanford in my brain because you said that they had one big upset win.
Because they beat that Carolina team there. But Doug, what do you think? I mean, Virginia, listen, new coach. This isn't a Virginia scoring 50 a game. They're putting up 70 a game. That's why I like the over here. I think they're going to score some points. But what are you going to do here?
I mean, the Tony Bennett thing just threw the program, sideways. And and the new coach, the pack line defense, which Tony Bennett was so famous for. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to play some part of it, but they're not doing a very good job. Okay, so they still can't score. I mean, you think about Virginia. Other than that 3-year run, which included winning the national championship, I mean, they've never had any offensive players or consistent offensive of any kind. This team does not either. This team that John Shire has now. I mean, I think this year, I mean, even though there's I'll just say not necessarily an interruption, but this is the first non-Mike Krzyzewski team. Okay, nothing there. No. John Shire is in charge of the program now. And I think that if you watch how they play and you think of how John Shire played at Duke, okay, it is multidimensional, can play fast, they can play slow, they can kill you on the boards, they can turn you over. It's just a really interesting basketball team, fascinating to watch. And like I say, and to me, the best part of it is that they can play so many different ways. Do I think Virginia playing better lately? I think they're 4-1 straight up and against the spread in the last 5. I think they can play well. And to me, if you look at it, maybe Virginia +8 on the first half line might be worth a look, because they'll be excited to play. But I think Duke will just methodically beat this team, and they're going to end up winning by 17. So give me Duke minus the points on this one.
There you go. Again, like I said in my little thing, I think Duke could just kind of pull away and cover this number as well. But official free pick here, I'm going over the 131.5. All totals today. It's a total Monday. Yeah. This would be good if it was on Tuesday. We're going to call totals Tuesday, but it is Monday. Over Duke 131.5. Over Baylor 153.5. Under Utah 146.5. These are free picks. Doug's got some college basketball up right now. It's a lone package. He's like the lone wolf today. Just a one game, just like me. I got one pack up today, just a 3-pack of winners. Chip's got a couple up. You want to get a day pass, you want to get down with Chip Chirimbes today. The day pass works out best to get all of his plays. And that's it. College basketball for the next 4 days. I'm not counting that nonsensical makeup game on Wednesday. It's only a standalone game there. So college hoops tomorrow, college hoops Wednesday. NBA with these two gentlemen on Thursday. And, of course, Cubbies, Arizona. Maybe we'll be live betting it during the show. You never know. It'll be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock it's starting. Who knows what will be happening there. But for Doug, Chip, and myself, gentlemen, good luck to you today. Hit the like on the way out, folks. Back tomorrow. College hoops for you again. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.